Evening. This is Howard Dotson with Justice for All. Hopefully, I'll be able to have Iryna on the line. I met her in Odessa. She's a Ukrainian refugee who's in the UK right now. She helps interpret for me for Igor, the 9-year-old that I met in Lviv in July when his family was evacuated to Germany. I've been to Ukraine 4 times since the full-scale invasion. My first trip was in March last year, 3 weeks after the full-scale invasion. Thousands of refugees were on the move from eastern and central Ukraine to Lviv. When I arrived in March, I stayed over one night in Poland. Had I not stayed a night in Poland, I would have been in those barracks that were bombed because the location of the foreign fighters was leaked to the media, and the Russians sent a cruise missile to hit their training center. When I was in the U.S. Army, I was trained in air defense. I was going to support them in the maintenance of the Stinger missile system. I was trained as a Vulcan gunner. And after the barracks was bombed, I shifted gears because I did art therapy training at Sonoma State as part of my master's degree. I've been using art therapy with refugee children for the last 19 years, ever since my time in Kenya as a missionary. And I have Iryna on the line.
Hello.
Добрый день.
Добрый день. Hello. How are you?
Good to see you.
Yes. How are you? Are you okay?
I'm good. Sorry about the hour.
Yes. Now it's a little bit late. I'm going to sleep. So you would like to join someone else to Zoom, or you would like to talk only with me?
We'll see who else hops on the line. I invited some of our local media to lift up your book
Ah,
to hear your testimony as a Ukrainian refugee.
yes. I saw invitation. Yes. And you would like to do it right now?
Just for a few minutes, if you could share about your book and the opportunity that people have to hear your story.
Okay. So you would like to record it?
I'm recording it now.
Okay. Yes, I see.
So could you share a little bit about your journey?
Okay. So I can introduce myself and introduce my book, yes, and say something interesting and explain everything what it's about, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so my name is Iryna. I'm from Kharkiv, from Ukraine, and I author my book, which named When the Soul Speaks. I wrote my book. I started to write my book about 1 year ago when a war started. And I wrote, I think, about a half of year. It's like diary with my memories, with like memoirs. I think it's style of literature calls. So everything is true, everything about my life. Every chapter, it's different chapter without connect with previous chapter. So it's about people who I met, about love, about friends, about war, about time when I must to leave my house, my apartment, my country, my motherhood, motherland, yes, motherland, and to move to another one city. I think it's not only a literature, it's not only interesting, it's also like historic book which everyone must to read, to know about it, because every word in this book is true. I didn't imagine anything. especially name, city, people, everything about my real life. So that's why I wanna to make more popular, to make famous my book, because some people still think it's not like movie, but I want to share is my life story and to show all the world about my life story. I translated English language, so now I have 2 electronic version, which already finished, English in Ukrainian, and now I start to share with people. I start to sell. I would like to sell 1,000 book minimum. Doesn't matter, it can be a publisher, it can be a self-publisher. For me, I think not the most important, because some people already want to buy. I decided it will be about $10 price. So yes, I'm finished. Thank you.
Share a little bit about your journey from Kharkiv to when I met you in Odessa. Now,
yeah, about when I left my city, Kharkiv, I moved to England, and then some months, some day, of course, I went back to Ukraine to meet with my friends, with my husband. So that's why I went to Odessa, and I met Howard in small cafe. I remember it was not crowded place, I think only for 5-6 people, but was friendly, kindly, and person who is owner. She was so like open heart. She was so kind, and I met Howard, and we started to talk with him. He explained me his role in this war, and I explained who are you, who I me, who I am, who I am. Sorry. And we start to talk. I saw YouTube channel Howard, and we start to connect. Sometimes we call each other, and I help to translate people who is in Ukraine now some information about. Yes, last time we talked about medicine, we talked about people, friends, how was going, how was business deal in Ukraine. Sometimes we connect and help each other, and I ask Howard to help me translate and also publish my book, because I think yes, it's my target. Yeah.
your story is your truth.
Yeah.
It's putting human face to the refugee story.
Sorry.
You're putting a human face to the refugee story.
About my refugee story. Now I live in England. I live with sponsor family. It's like special program, Funds for Ukraine, when government of Great Britain help people from Ukraine, and they gave us English family and place to live with them. So that's why I live with my, I think, best friendly English family, with dog, with cat, with children, and thanks it I improve my English. I think I'm not already like a tourist who wants to seaside and only walk on the street. I really like inside on this country, and I improve my English. I work there. Now I already have a new friend, but I still go on talk with people in Ukraine. I didn't cancel my connect with them. For example, now I'm in Lviv. I will go back to England in 2 days. And in Lviv today, I also was introduced my book.
Congratulations. I'm sorry, I thought you were in English, but I did a bad time zone translation.
Okay. Yeah, it was we call networking where many people, business people, who are psychologists, have some business, introduce each other, and I introduce myself and talk about books, and I would like to do presentation of my book.
If you get time, there's a Ukraine Media Center right there on Ratusha Square.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the journalists are registered. So I encourage you to go to the Ukraine Media Center, right across from City Hall.
Ukrainian Media Center, of course. So you can contact, you can help me with some, yes?
Yeah, her name is Anna, who works there at the Ukrainian Media Center.
Oh, no, thank you. So you can give me a number, or you can ask her, can you give me a number? Can you contact and introduce each other? Yes, it will be very nice. Thank you. So I will wait, yes, for you, for your contact of Anna. Maybe she could help me. Yeah?
Have you been to Lviv before?
In Lviv? Yes, I was in Lviv many times before.
It's a beautiful city.
Beautiful city.
My favorite city in Ukraine.
Yes, it's beautiful city, and think now it's one of the most safety city also. So I feel there very good. It's quiet. It's not noisy. It's quiet place, so it's okay.
Where do you stay in England?
It calls a small English village calls a hook. Hook. And not far away from London, but out for them it's not far away, but 1 hour by train.
Have you met many Ukrainians in England?
Yes, now I see many Ukrainians around all the world, because sometimes I go to another one country like Portugal, for example, to meet with another one friend from Ukraine, and now I think Ukrainian people in every country. Because sometimes I hear language, Ukrainian language. Yeah.
I had one lady we evacuated last May. She sent me a message from the Amazon jungle.
Mm-hmm.
She went from occupied territory through Lviv. She ended up in Peru.
From occupied territory, from Lviv. Huh?
No. Amazing, the Ukrainian diaspora.
Yeah. Of course. Yes, Ukrainian diaspora, I think, yes. The best, the biggest one.
A little bit about the center that you and your husband had set up in Odessa.
And now we met in Lvov, and he haven't lived in Odessa yet already. So now he moved to Kiev. It looks like not bad place for business, for live right now in Kiev. Looks like more safety, because around the circle of Kiev, many, how it calls, like, special things which with a separate city weapon, like special weapon to protect Kiev.
Air defense setup.
Yeah.
So, would you like to read a paragraph or two from your book?
Yes, I can read paragraph. Need to try.
Good to hear a couple of paragraphs from the book.
Okay. Need to where I can find like a small part. Yes, I can write small. Okay. I think, but I can read paragraph which calls introduction. Yeah, about myself also.
Excellent.
Okay. I have always wanted to write about myself. It's something wrong. I have always to write again. Okay, since something wrong, but I have always wanted to write about myself. However, when I was picking out a good notebook, thinking about how to name the book, and choosing the best atmosphere for inspiration, I wasted time. My desire was irrevocably and faded away. I asked myself, who needs my book anyway? The mind was asking me the question. It is always there when something needs to be criticized and rejected. What about my soul? What does the soul tell me? I can hardly hear it. Some quiet whisper. What does it want to say? It is hard for me to understand the words that have been silenced for many years. I used to talk to myself a lot when I was a child. My little angel self, always listening to my inner voice, and knew what I wanted. I was confident in my desires and quickly got what I wanted. I grew up in my mind, such a sarcastic, powerful mind, started to prevail. From year to year, I learned to do as should, and I forgot how I wanted. My soul and resort for a secret dark corner to which I sometimes peek in my sleep. However, the soul screams in pain and despair. It screams because she is me, the real me, not wearing makeup, glasses, and heels, but the one in a light dress running through a wide field of flowers. What a good thing that I had started meditation. At first, I heard individual words echoing from the deepest layer of my subconscious. Because I ordered a professional translator, but I think I'm not native, not the best, but okay. Then became phrases and then in sentence. I know how exactly. When my soul speaks to me, it is broadcasting the word of my own God who knows who God I feel and who loves me with unconditional love. He is who I am. In this way, it is better to explain to the restless mind, always looking for answer, the wonders happening around me. When I started Instagram, I used to make photo and video posts that I liked the post. I didn't think about how to reach large audience and have few followers. I was told, you'll never get your page promoted that way because you only do this here for yourself and your loved one. So at first I was angry, but then I realized that is cool. That is how I want to go through life, doing everything for my loved ones and myself. So if you are reading this book, know this, you are the person close to you. I invite you into my world. There are so many life stories here. People, places, and landscapes. I invite you into my soul, where emotions and feelings fill me like waves, where imagine emerge from the particle and fantasy. So, are you ready? Then go for it. Yeah.
Excellent.
Thank you. Thank you. So sorry, Howard. I need to go.
No problem.
Yes, so we
I recorded this and I'll be sharing it with the media and potential publishers here in the US. And I wish you safe travels and I hope that Lviv is quiet tonight. No air raid sound.
Thank you. Thank you. See you.
Rest well. Slava Ukrainian.
Thank you. Bye. До свидания.
So that was Iryna. I met her in Odessa last December on my fourth mission in Ukraine. I was there to advocate for potassium iodide. Potassium iodide is a critical nutritional supplement that needs to be taken within 4 hours of anyone under the age of 40 exposed to radiation. My first mission was in March. My second mission was in May. We evacuated 60 civilians before 5 missiles hit Lviv. One missile was only 100 meters from the train station. So Lviv has been my base. 3 missions. My fourth mission, I went to Odessa, Kiev, Kherson, back to Odessa. And I met Iryna when I first arrived in Odessa after going to the NATO summit, Bucharest. In NATO, they were meeting, and Ukraine's not a member of NATO. But Ukraine has been asking Romania to share their stockpile of potassium iodide. They offered it to their general public, and only 1% of Romanians took them up on the offer. This told me they had a huge stockpile. Moldova was trying to get it before Ukraine. So when I was in Bucharest, I asked diplomats to ask the Romanian government why they're not delivering on Ukraine's request for potassium. Now that I'm back in Minnesota, we are working with LiveFit and Shepherd Foundation to expand the prosthetics available in country. We're going to have a virtual conference in May. We're inviting Minnesota doctors, surgeons, wound specialists, physical therapists to share some of the best practices of prosthetic medicine recovery for Ukrainian soldiers that have been implicated. It's called the Minnesota Miracle, of what's been a huge effort in Minnesota from Ukrainian Community Center, protests and the prosthetics at Oak Scale, medical supplies that have been collected from Dr. Schubert regions that went to Poland, Dr. Morishek that went to Ukraine. I hope to see more doctors in Minnesota do rotation, Poland and Ukraine, to support the soldiers and civilians recovering crimes against humanity that committed by forces. I want Iryna's story to put a human face on the immigrant, the refugee, and all the Ukrainians that have had to flee and start new lives. As this war continues, some of us are going to be tempted to want to cut the funding, and we have a fatigue factor. I hope Iryna's story and stories of other Ukrainians in the diaspora will remind us what this is all about. That one day Ukraine will be free again. All of Ukraine. All the soil that Russia has invaded since 2014 to be liberal. So that freedom and democracy prevails in Europe. And that it can be made an example of any other dictator or despot that violates rules of that global supporting ethic will be held accountable. I hope that Putin ends up in the Hague and is charged and convicted for the war crimes. Thousands of Ukrainian children brought to the targeting of hospitals, targeting of schools, targeting of critical infrastructure, which puts people at risk of freezing. Regarded the war crime charges brought against Putin. I hope the Wagner Group gets bankrupt by the civil courts. There's a law firm in London looking at bringing cases to the civil court, just like Southern Poverty Law Center bankrupt the KKK. We need to bankrupt the Wagner Group, hold them accountable for the war crimes in Syria, Ukraine, and now they're in Africa. Time for our United Nations community to live up to our pledge, never again. It's been hollow for me. So I'll be sharing how you can purchase Iryna's book. Please call your Congress rep, your senator, and lift up sustained support for Ukraine until she is free, until the reparations rebuild Ukraine to restore her back to where she should be. Never again, never again will let genocide happen. Every longitude, every latitude is free. Dictators and despots. Robert Prime.